What's going on, guys? It's Lewis here with Crypto Elite, and so much is going on right now in the markets. The SEC is suing Binance for doing something, one thing or another. The SEC is always trying to screw everyone over and sue everybody. So now they're coming after Binance, and there has been blood in the markets because of this. Binance BNB coin is down 10.5%. And so is the rest of the market, to be honest. So is this a good buying opportunity? Well, let's take a look at the charts. Let's take a look at some of the fundamental stuff that I like to look at in these bigger market updates, and let's figure it out. Okay, so first things first, we're going to start off with the Bitcoin Bull Run Index. It's currently at 25. If we go down to the chart, you could see that it did hit 2, which was the, basically the sign to go all in. That's when Bitcoin was at 16,200, and it came all the way up to around 29. And so now my strategy for this is that if it does happen to come back down to 5, that's when I will 100% go all in no matter what. And so right now it's at 25, and really it's 5 or under or 90 or above. That's when I really pay big attention to this. So yeah, nothing really to say here, but just want to go over this along with all of the other fundamental stuff before we get into the charts. Next up, we have the MVRV-Z score. For this one, if it happens to come back down into the green zone, then I will go all in to Bitcoin. So that's going to be my indicator. Obviously, green zone is buy, red zone is sell. Typically, 8 is sell for me, and then 8.5 is sell everything. And then green, I usually wait a little bit when it's in the green to actually start buying. So now that it's back above the green, what I'm hoping for is something like this for it to come back in and tag it, and that's when I'll go all in. Or something, like this, where it came above it for like a very, very short period of time and then comes right back in it. Then I will go back in. Same thing back here, rises above it and then comes back in, and then that's when I'm gonna make sure I'm all in to Bitcoin at that point. Next up is the RHODL ratio. Similar to the MVRV-Z score, the RHODL ratio is really good when it comes into the green line. So it originally came into the green at $23,000, and of course it stayed in the green all the way until it popped up above. Wait a minute, what? Oh no. This was actually outside of the green at 16,700, and then fell back into the green despite the price actually moving up. See, this is 17,781, and this is 16,700. So even though the price moves up, the RHODL ratio could still end up going lower, which is honestly quite odd, but that is thanks to the formula. So what I like to do with this, because this is a little bit more accurate in terms of when this does get into the green zone, the bottom typically is closer than, say, the MVRV-Z score. If it comes back into the green, I'm definitely going to be going all in, unless I'm all in, before then for some reason or another. But yeah, right now, obviously, we're at $27,000 per Bitcoin. So if it does happen to come back down, literally like the week that it touches the green, that's when I want to go. That's when I want to just go into Bitcoin and simply just forget about it. And I already have my trading account a lot smaller than my longer term investment account, but yeah, I will make sure my long-term investment account is even longer or even bigger if this comes back down into the green, because I'll just buy a bunch of Bitcoin and just throw it in there. And next up, we got everyone's favorite chart, the rainbow chart. And this is currently, it looks like it's in the buy zone right here. So I'm looking for it to get into basically a fire sale zone for me to, I guess, take this chart more seriously and to actually use it. But yeah, you could see it is in the buy zone right now. So, and honestly, I do agree with this. I do think that under 30,000 is a great buy. Anything under 30K for Bitcoin, I think Bitcoin is going to reach $200,000 plus next cycle. And if you could get it under 25, I think that's an absolute steal. And I think between 25 and 30 is a deal. 20 and 25 is a steal. And 15 and 20 is just a once in a lifetime or twice in a lifetime opportunity if it does happen to come back down there. I don't know what I'll do. Maybe I'll sell my other condo and just like freaking buy Bitcoin and just put it on cold storage, and I don't know. Well, I'll figure something out. I'm gonna sell everything. I'm gonna make sure I buy as much as humanly possible if it gets back down to $15,000. Like absolutely no questions asked. So yeah, we are in the buy zone. So okay, it's okay, but yeah, no, I'd rather use the RHODL or the MVRV or the CBBI or the other stuff, plus the actual charts that we'll go into in just a minute. So yeah, we're in the buy zone, and that's the rainbow chart. And finally, for these fundamental type indicators, we got the fear and greed index. It's currently at 53, which means nothing to do with it because I only care if it's, somewhere down here in the very, very fearful, or if it's way up here in the very, very greedy part of this chart. So I really only look at this if it's under 15 or if it's over 85. Next up, we have the big picture total market cap of all of cryptocurrency. It's currently at 1.1 trillion. So I do like the fact that it's above a trillion. And I also like the fact that it's literally basically right at a trillion too, because just think about the big picture for a second, because think about how big the market cap of Apple is, and how big the market cap of Tesla is, and how big the market cap of, basically all of stocks or gold or real estate or pretty much anything else, right? It's huge. It's in the trillions. And cryptocurrency, the total market cap of all of cryptos, is still at $1 trillion. So this does give me optimism. It does give me hope that it's going to continue to grow and get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And that, well, we already know that, but it gives me hope or optimism in the fact that it's still so small. It's still under $1 trillion, or it's still just at $1 trillion, which relatively speaking is very, very, very small, because trillions of more dollars will be flowing into crypto. And so I do like that. And as far as the actual chart goes, I'll go a little bit more into it in a second, but I do not like how it hit the 23.6 fib and then retraced. Obviously, we are above the 200 EMA and MA, but like you could see here, it didn't really matter. Like we sort of just bounced up and down. Like the weekly EMAs or MAs did not really do much. Like, yes, we had the 200 week MA down here that worked very well, and up here it bounced off of it. It bounced off of it, but it went right through it. And it went right through it. 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 So yeah, I don't really use moving averages too much anymore, but it is still okay because of the fact that it's the 200. And so what am I going to do with it? Well, I'll just talk about the more detailed technical analysis when I actually get into Bitcoin. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of the fact that this got rejected from the 23.6 fib. And then as far as the total market cap excluding Bitcoin, so basically altcoin market cap goes, yeah, we didn't even get up to the 23.6, which is very annoying. I would think that we would actually get up there. But yeah, it's at $580 billion right now. So it's a little bit more than half of the total market cap is in alts. And yeah, we hit the previous bottom, or the 2018 top of the market cap, which we had a nice retracement to back here in 2021. And then we hit that, bounced off of it again, went a little bit underneath of it, and then eventually came back up. And we did not actually get to this previous high, which is something that I really wanted to do. But just like the other market cap, we are at the 200 MA and EMA weekly, which supposedly is really good. But look at this again, like this, yeah, did not really do much with that. Like it doesn't matter that much. So just looking at the charts. So yeah, I'll go into this in a little bit more detail when I get to the actual charts. But yeah, also not liking the fact that we didn't even get up to the 23.6 for this, and we'll have to see what it is on a lower time frame when we get into that. Next up, we have the dominance levels, which, if you've been paying attention, have not really mattered all that much. But we do have the altcoin dominance levels at an area where it might be a good time to long alts. You really can't be sure nowadays, but it is at the support of where the dominance was for altcoins. So if altcoins are going to go up, it would make sense that they would go up once they hit support, which they have. It's just which alts, you know, because it's not like back in 2021 or late 2020 when every single alt would go up when this was just skyrocketing, right? This is very select alts happen to go up, and I'm really disappointed and hate the fact that it's mostly meme coins or shit coins or things that are just straight up scams. So yeah, I don't try to pay too much attention to this, but you could say there's a small percentage gain or small probability gain of the fact that alts might move up because the altcoin dominance is at the support, right? And then we have Bitcoin dominance, which is the polar opposite of that. And this Bitcoin dominance, it's like Bitcoin dominance, it hit the resistance back here in June 2022. Right. And so if you're looking at just the dominance charts, you'd say, oh, well, I want to get into alts because it's, going to be alt season, because look at this, the Bitcoin dominance goes down and alts go up when Bitcoin dominance goes down because alt dominance goes up. But no, obviously 2022 sucked. And so really 2023 was the only time that everything sort of went up. And that was when Bitcoin went up, honestly, the most, and that started basically January 2023, or I guess you could say sometime in November-ish, which was right around here. And yeah, Bitcoin dominance has just been completely Bitcoin has completely dominated pretty much every single alt that I could think of for a very long time. And so yeah, Bitcoin dominance has continued to go up, and it's now above the previous resistance. And so it's in a tricky spot, but yeah, like I said, the dominance levels are not something that you could really pay attention to in this type of environment. They're great indicators in the bull season, but in bear mode, it's really difficult. Although this is at the resistance. This is at major resistance for the Bitcoin dominance, which typically means that alts go up. So maybe, like I said, there might be a small probability, higher probability that alts go up from here. Next up, let's look at the high time frame chart for Bitcoin. Right now, we're in a range between basically 19,900 and 29,000. So between here and here. And this was, this got rejected, and now we're back underneath of it. So that's honestly really not good, because now the bottom of the range is all the way down here at pretty much like 20,000. Are we going to get there though? That's debatable. I am not too sure, because if we close down here, then that would mean that we close below this close, and we've had a close, a higher low, a higher low, a higher low, a higher low close, and then we had a higher low close. Although now you could say that this technically was the first lower low of a close on the weekly time frame. And now that we got rejected, once this week ends, that basically confirms that we are now in a downtrend. So yeah, I can't rule out $20,000 from being hit, and I would want to take the Fibonacci and just make sure and just see where the 61.8 is, because I would want to get in there. But yeah, that's what Bitcoin looks like on the higher time frames. Basically, it's not good. We got rejected, and we could possibly come all the way back down to 20,000. I have these lines in here, this red line and this blue line and this other line, if I can't actually get to it, but I have another line, and basically that's going to say that from if this is a low, that from this low to this halving, however many days that is, that's going to be the 72 bars. So that's going to be the same amount of time from the halving until the next top. So that's going to take a while to get to, but might as well, have it in here and remind myself of it consistently so I don't forget it. So yeah, that is the long-term chart for Bitcoin. And then we have the long-term chart for Ethereum. Let's check this out. Well, we had the 23.6 and we tagged it, and then we tagged it again. We moved up above it, which is also a move up above the previous resistance. And then we fell back below it. We could not get above it. We tried, rejected. We tried, rejected, fell down. We tried again. And now we're getting rejected again. So, man, yeah, on the long-term chart, that's not good for, or the high time frame chart, that's not good for Ethereum either, especially because now we're back underneath, 19,050, which was the previous top. And this was basically a big fake out. And this is a really bad looking candle. So I was really hoping that there would be like, I don't know, manipulation or whatever you want to call it to keep on spiking the price up. But no, just like going by what the chart looks like, as soon as this closed down here, it probably should have been the indicator to, sell and just like go short or push some shorts in on the lower time frames a little higher up. And so, yeah, Ethereum though, one thing about Ethereum is that it did not create that lower low yet. So it has the low, the higher low, the higher low, the higher low, and the higher low, and then the higher low right here. So if this has to close below here in order to make a higher low, in order to make a lower low, which would confirm the market structure shift to the downside. So we'll look at this on the lower time frame, but yeah, if you're looking at Bitcoin, which already did do that, then it's not too good. So yeah, those are the long-term charts for Bitcoin and Ethereum. Now let's look at the dollar, which actually looks pretty weak, which is supposedly good for Bitcoin. So you can see that the dollar has rallied into the previous bearish order block, and it is getting rejected, which is really, really good. So hopefully what will happen with the dollar is that it will continue in this downtrend. So you can see it made a low, a lower low, a lower low, a lower low, and then came up and made a lower low, and now, could just come up here, lower low in terms of lower low all around. And then it came back up here into, this is probably, the sweet zone, and the 61.8, boom, 61.8, getting rejected. So hopefully it keeps on going down. And once it starts going down, the risk on assets will continue to move up, or will move up, and Bitcoin will move up, and everything else will move up too. The stocks, of course, have been doing amazing. The S&P 500 is above 4,200, which is absolutely crazy. It's mind-blowing, like how powerful this is. It's above the resistance, and it's stayed above there. If this comes back down on the weekly time frame to below 4,200, that will be extremely concerning, and then I will probably honestly just get out of all the markets. I'll go flat. But right now it's looking very bullish because of the fact that it's been closing. It closed above. It's been consolidating under resistance, and it's hit it once, twice, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times, over here. And now it came back above it. And also there's not this huge trend line that was what rejected it from right here, and there's not a wick like there was back here. So yeah, it's actually looking really good for stocks, and the dollar is looking not too good. So I think that we might actually move up in crypto, which means that the news from today with CZ and Binance getting sued might actually have been a good buying opportunity. And I actually did buy some cryptocurrencies, so we'll see how that works out. But yeah, I'll look for more cryptocurrencies to buy, and maybe look for some trade setups. Well, not maybe, but definitely look for some trade setups in this video too. So yeah, that's the dollar and the S&P 500. Okay, so let's take a look at Bitcoin on the higher time frames, then we'll scroll down into the lower time frames. So we're looking at this. If you take the current range, which is from this bottom to this top, you can see that 61.8 lines up really well with the previous resistances. And I like that. However, I'm not too sure that we're actually going to come back down into this zone right here. This is the bullish order block. So this is the down move before the up move that ended up breaking the market structure. So this whole area is where you do want to be looking for longs on the weekly, from a weekly time frame perspective. Now let's go down into a little bit of a lower time frame, or lower time frame of the 12-hour. And what can we see here? Well, we can see that if we actually do this, this was previous support, right? And then it was the big support for this consolidation down here. And when we came back above it, I really said we should not go back and stay underneath this line, which unfortunately we did end up doing. So we were in this bullish market from down here, and we just kept on making higher highs and higher lows, right? Higher highs, higher lows, until finally, boom, we crashed down. And that's when we made this, we closed right here, which was lower than the previous low, which means that this was a bearish market structure shift, which means that when it comes back up, you want to start looking for short positions somewhere right here, right? Because this was the up move that preceded the down move that broke the market structure. So this is the bearish order block. And of course, the price did come back into the bearish order block, tagged it 3 times before falling back down. Then it made another lower low. So this right here is the lower low from this low back here. So what does that mean? That means that this broke the market structure. So what do we know? What does this mean? This is the up move before the down move that broke the previous market structure. So that means that this right here technically is, or was, the bearish order block on that on this move down, right? Then it came back up, tagged it, came back down, tagged it again, came back down, tagged it again, and then fell back down to the previous support. Did not make a lower low, and then had this nice little run up. This was a good run up. But if we do this right here, you could see that this actually had an SFP. So once this broke above here, then this area became somewhat of a bullish area of where you would look for longs. And people did look for longs right there. That's why the price went up. But because this happened right here and we couldn't close above this previous swing high because it was from here to here, this was the range, that when we got this SFP, that was super bearish. And then of course we simply failed to get back above it again, and then now we're at the bottom of the range. So now we're at the bottom of the range. Like, that's it. That's the bottom of the range. And what's it looking like? It's going to happen. What it's looking like is that we're going to probably now have an SFP of the bottom of the range. So first we had a swing failure pattern up here, and now what do? Target the bottom of the range. Okay, what do you do now? You target the top of the range, or at the very least, because this actually closed so far down, you can do the same thing that we did back there, and you look for the bearish order block. So this right here is the bearish order block. Why? Because it's the up move for the down move that broke the market structure back there. So this is setting up to be somewhat of a swing failure pattern down here at the bottom to create, hopefully, a move up, which means that from a technical perspective, we're in a downtrend because we started here and now we're down here. We made a low, we made a high, and then we broke the market structure back down even further. So now we want to come back up and tag this bearish order block, which, if we look at the range high to range low, that is right at the 61.8. So I would probably do it right here just to be safe. And what can you do is you can have a position like this and target potentially new lows. And these lows that you would target would be, if we go back to the weekly time frame, potentially they would be either the highs of, you know, the previous weekly supports or resistances, excuse me, because the SR flips, or they would be the 61.8 of this range right here, from this bottom to this bottom down here to this top right here. So that's what I would be looking for now. Is I would be looking for something like this, and then once this happens, we'll see what the verdict ends up being. Do I think that we're gonna get all the way back up here? I'm not entirely sure. In fact, I would almost bet that we don't, but this would be the trade that I would take. And I would take that because this is almost a 4-hour trade, and it's really the best trade setup that I could see for Bitcoin. The other thing that you could think of is that if we end up coming all the way back up and we come above this level and we close, you know, somewhere up here, then you could look to long this area for a potential, you know, higher high. But it's not looking like that's going to happen. So this would be about a 5% move, 4.7% move for Bitcoin, and that's what I'm looking for on the lower time frames. One thing that I want to add to this, though, is that if we do end up simply just rolling over and then we end up coming down to that area, so if we just end up going like this, right, and then we start turning around, then I think that we're going to end up coming all the way up and just, you know, blast through here. I don't think this trade will, you know, be good anymore if we come all the way down here first and then start moving around. If that's the case, then I would look for longs on retracements to try to get in to target, you know, up there. So just wanted to add that. Okay, so now let's go on to Ethereum, and we'll start off on the weekly time frame. So obviously right now we're in a very precarious moment or price because we are in an uptrend. We had the low, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low, and then the higher low right here, and then actually a nice break in the market structure above right here too as well. So there's a couple areas that I see which are really important. First one, of course, is this area right here. You could either take it from the wicks or from the candle bodies, either or. What I noticed is that this was very important, and because it was the high, right? And that was also the Fibonacci. Let's see here. Fibonacci 38.2, just about the 38.2. I'd actually probably take it like this. So yeah, so this was the 38.2, came up, tagged it, fell, right? And then it came back up and it couldn't sustain itself above it. The price couldn't sustain above it, which is really bad. That's like, you want price to remain above here. So the fact that on the weekly time frame it fell back down, this of course is really bad. And I pointed this out like a while back, when this candle formed, that this is a really bad candle. This is a bearish shooting star, like at the resistance. That's the last thing that you want to see. And then we had another doji candle which could not get itself above here. And now last week we couldn't even get ourselves to come up above here. I like how it's consolidating, but I don't like these candles. Like, that's really bad in my opinion. So let's go back to the weekly time frame. And what can we see here? We could see that there's this level, obviously, and there's also this level. Lots of support down here, right? Lots of wicks coming down here, so lots of liquidity grabs. And then finally, when we broke through it really hard. And then when we broke through it above again, it was really good. But as soon as we came back and we broke back down below it, well, boom, retest, sell off. Almost couldn't even get to it, and then sell off again. And then when we got back to it eventually again, all right, lots of sell off, and then finally we busted above it, retest, boom. So this obviously is a very clear level. So this is a level that I want to mark out on my charts, major support resistance level. Also, if we take the Fibonacci from the bottom to the top, it is at the 50, which is really good. And now if we go into the daily time frame, we could see that there were actually a lot of wicks in this area. So this is super bullish, all of these wicks. Because it's just showing that there's massive amounts of buying pressure down here. Even here, there's a really nice wick. So it's questionable if we're gonna come down here, and if we like, even if I take the fib from here to here, I like to get in underneath the 50 in what we call like the value zone, right? But this is looking fairly bullish. This is looking pretty bullish to me. So we have this huge support. If we draw it out like that, and we have not closed underneath of here. So we haven't closed underneath of here since April 1st. So basically April, May, 2 months. So a full 2 months. We haven't closed underneath here. So a close under here would probably be a little a little bearish to me, unless we wick it again, have another wick down in here, and we do this like SFP type deal. But oh man, something is just telling me that like we aren't, it's not really the best, That's what, I don't know. Let's go on 12 hour, see what I see. No, I don't really see much. I mean, this is pretty, this is really hard. Looking at it from a shorter term perspective, though, this is what I see. I see, just starting back here, that we were making pretty much higher high, starting from this level right here. So we tagged it, and then we started making higher highs and higher lows, right? So we were in a bullish pattern up. We consolidated before making our way back down. Now, when we made our way back down, we ended up, actually, this isn't technically a bearish order. I was going to say this is the bearish order because this is order block, because it's the move up before the move down, but it did not break any market structure technically, unless you want to say that this whole consolidation was some type of low. Then we could say that this was a bearish order block, and the price should have come back up, tagged it before falling back down, but it didn't even do that. It just went straight. It tagged the fair value gap eventually, but what I think I see more so is, what I see more so is that like this was the low, the down move before the up move that broke the market structure right here. So this was the bullish order block, and then it came down into it, jumped up a little bit, but this was the high time frame previous high and liquidity zone. So this top, like this whole area, let me go back to the weekly time frame. Like, as soon as we busted back down underneath of it on the weekly, then on the daily, it looked like this, and I would have looked for places to start shorting. So that would have been, this would have been the area to short. Pretty much, it did come in, tag it, and then fall all the way back down. And then this was this was a fake out. This was some type of market manipulation type deal before dumping the price back down again. And I would look for the range of, this was the range high, this was the range low. So, 61.8, tag the 61.8. Boom, and then ended up making a lower low, breaking the market structure below here, And now we made a low, a higher low, equal low, higher low, and now we made a lower low. So now we're technically in a downtrend, because we had this low, and we had a low, high, low, equal high, lower / lower high, and then boom, we had the move down. So looking at it, this right here is the move up before the move down that broke the market structure on the 12 hour. Maybe on the 4 hour, it's a little bit more clear. But yeah, on the this is what it is on the 4 hour. And honestly, if Bitcoin wasn't so clear, like, then I would be more hesitant to try to do anything with Ethereum. But yeah, I could see Ethereum doing something like this, and then continuing back down into this major support resistance level at 1735, and then that's right underneath all of this liquidity down here too. So it would have been nice to, you know, come up here and get this liquidity before moving back down. But yeah, that did not happen. So that's what I'm thinking for Ethereum, is that it's going to have a little move up, followed by this move down there. So I'd probably put something like this. Yeah, I'd probably put something on like this. Seems reasonable enough to me. Yeah. I think that I'm going to end this stream with what I think is probably the best coin to go into now, or the coin that I'm going into at least, which is Optimism, which is OP, because I'm looking at this and I'm seeing on the daily chart right here, this is the down candle before the up move that broke through this crazy resistance, right? Big resistance here, big resistance here, big resistance here, support, resistance, right? So this is the bullish order block on the daily time frame, and it never came back and retested it. So we finally are back into that daily bullish order block, number one. Number two, this is a big SR flip area right now, and we are right by it. Number three, this is also a huge support trend line, major trend line area as well. And on top of all of that, if you take the Fibonacci from the bottom to the top, it's at the 78.6. So this has 4 different confluences. Plus, if you look down here, the RSI is actually having a bullish divergence, because the RSI is higher than where it was previously, while the price is lower than what it was previously. And on top of that, the MACD, MACD is higher than what it was previously, despite the price, of course, being lower than what it was. So, yeah, it has everything from a price action standpoint and from a technical indicator standpoint as well. Not only that, but if you look at it on the daily time frame, yeah, on the daily time frame, there's no market structure shift yet, but this is a fairly good like type of candle, like 3 candle structure. And maybe if we go to the 12 hour, there's something. So, on the 12 hour, it still hasn't broken down below here. And you could argue that, honestly, this is the SFP of this low right here. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm in OP, and I'm gonna stick this one out. So, really hope that there is no more bad news that tanks the market, because that would be pretty horrible. So you could look on the 4 hour time frame, try to find something that's Yeah, there's not really like something that I see on the 4-hour when it comes to. The only thing I see is on the 1-hour. On the 1-hour, this is a really nice hammer candle at the support, and obviously we followed that up with some nice bullish action right here. Sorry, there's like a fly or something. So yeah, I do like OP. I'd probably look for a trade set up in here if I wasn't already in it. They maybe do something like this, but I don't know. I'd probably keep my stops sort of far away, probably further away, probably underneath here, but I don't know. Either or, that's what I like. I like OP. I like the 1-hour time frame on Aptos as well. Actually, looking at this, oh, look at the 12-hour Aptos. All right, coming in, it's at the support. Where's the resistance? Looks like it. Okay, so this is clear. It freaking hit the bearish order block. Up move for the down move. Came up, tagged it, came back down. Now we're back at support. So my guess is that we're going to come down into this area, do something like this, and then come back up here. That's probably what I would think. So Aptos isn't looking too bad either. So maybe if we see something on the 1-hour time frame, I'll put an alert in. Look, oops, APT. Look for bullish setups. And yeah, I think this will be good. Maybe I could copy the link to this and click this button right here, edit the link, and then add this like that. There. So yeah, I do like Aptos as well. That looks pretty good. Let's see, where is it on the higher time frame? On the daily, not really. I don't really see anything on the daily. On the 12-hour though, look at this. Like, this is previous area of consolidation back here. So yeah, it's an area of consolidation, previous SR flip area. And yeah, I like it. So I like that. XRP. If XRP comes back down here, I think that would be a pretty good longing opportunity. And I guess quants. Look for quants. Obviously, I don't know. I think quant, sort of just waiting on quant. Like, if it comes down here, I'm buying more. If it comes up here, then I'm selling it. So yeah, that's, and then ETH BTC. So ETH BTC looks really good. Probably if it comes up here, I'll sell it. I'm not really touching it. So anyway, I'm going to end the stream here, and I'm going to try to do another stream tomorrow and I'll look at these different charts, and I'll see if they're at the zones or not. And if they are, then maybe we could put some trades on, or maybe we could get out of some of the trades that we're in. I don't know. We'll figure this out. All right. So hope you're doing good. Stay safe out there. Bye.